Good evening, everyone. Item 1 on our agenda this evening is a public hearing will be held as follows. September 3rd, 2024, 6 p.m., the Terrebonne Parish School Board Office, 201 Stadium Drive, Houma, Louisiana, 70360. That public hearing is now open. The purpose of the public hearing is to discuss increase of adjusted millage rate not to exceed the prior year's maximum rate. Do we have a public comment? First call. Public comment, second call. Public comment, third call. Do we have any board member comments for the public hearing? Mr. Legore, Mr. Harding.
Yeah, thank you, Doc. I just I know that there are no comments, and I know that the boardroom is not full, but just for the reviewing public, just let the public know that when it comes down to property tax, that we are last out of 70 districts in the state of Louisiana, dead last. But when it comes down to property tax and sales tax, we're ranked about 44th. So I will definitely support this, I guess, hopefully our recommendation to roll it forward, because basically what we paid last year for bills, it's not costing the same thing again this year. So I just wanted to just throw that out there. I know nobody like taxes. I don't like them. I mean, I'm a small business owner, but that's just the cost of living in Terrebonne Parish. So I just thought that the public needs to understand exactly where we are at and hopefully why we're going to move forward with this proposition. Thank you.
Thank you for being so thorough with that, Mr. Harding. Anyone else? Mr. Ford.
I sort of want to echo what Greg is saying, but I'm going to be a lot less eloquent with it. You know, we hear a lot of times complaints about our public education system, what the school board is or isn't doing, and it all boils down to this. We've been talking about this topic for years now. For over a decade, I've been talking about the millage and how embarrassing it is to have such a low rate. In this parish, we pay more for our garbage than we do for our public education as a millage. And it all boils down to this. You get what you pay for, right? And if you want better, pay a little bit more. You know, that's just a reality of life. And that's one of the things that we need to consider in living in South Louisiana. Yes, we have extra expenses that a lot of people don't have in other places, but we choose to live here. And if we're going to choose to live here and educate our kids here, we need to do a better job. So I don't think we're asking for too much. I think this renewal is just right. In fact, I would love to see the board take to the public to ask for an increase. But I'm not going to be greedy right now because I like the way we're working and we're doing well with what we have. So I'm supporting this as well, like Mr. Harding, and I really wish more people would have showed up. If they had an opinion that was that strong, they could have came tonight and spoke on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Mr. DeHart.
Well, I'd like to make a comment in support of the millage proposal that we're going to do later tonight. And it's not just about the almighty dollar. It's about we need more parental involvement because that's a key. That's a partnership. In today's world, a lot of moms are working parents. And I'm just saying, we understand the hardship, but I can assure you, as long as I'm sitting in one of these chairs up here, we're going to put it to good use to benefit the students and our employees. Because whenever we benefit students, we also benefit our employees. And we have a very good school system that I'm proud to serve on. And it's not because of me. It's because of partnerships and having the funding to do what's necessary. And I just want to say in support of this millage, I just want to clarify that it takes all of us to make it work. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Clocher.
Yeah, the comment I'd like to make is I just want to be clear, we're not going up on the millage. The millage is staying exactly the same. You know, the assessor may go up on the value of property, which gives us a net increase. But as far as the millage, we're not asking for any increase in millage. We're just asking that it stay the same.
Correct.
And so, so again, I think we have a very good school system. We were able to give raises to the teachers last year, which is wonderful. And in order to continue to keep good teachers, we've got to be able to pay them. And in order to pay them, we have to have income coming in. And so, so I'm in support of this, as my fellow members have mentioned.
Thank you. Ms. LaVoy.
Yes, I'm kind of 50-50 because I do think we should go up because the people don't realize the quality of education. We spend our money correctly, and if not this time, one time, we're going to have to ask for an increase. We're not wasting money. We are spending the money. You know, I know we're afraid to ask for that increase. They're going to say no, but compare apples to apples and orange to orange. We are spending our money correctly, and like Dr. Bud said, we're going to have to compete with teachers in other districts, and they're having way more millage than us. But we are spending our money correctly, and I hope the public see that. We have a great school system, and if you don't believe it, go out and compare and look at other systems. So, you know, one day we're going to have to ask for more money. We're going to have to, you know, I'm grateful, but to be honest with you, I think we need to, because the public have to come and see what we doing. Look at all the schools are being rebuilt. Now, we spending money. FEMA not 100% of everything, you know. We're going to have to give raises again next year because parish has got this money, going to give raises. So to compete, we're going to have to do it again. So I think we should be in shape to give raises without robbing Paul to pay Peter. But I support it, but you know, I just think we should go up because we're not beating the taxpayers. We're doing a great job with their money.
Thank you. I'll just repeat, to wrap it up, I wanted to make sure the public understands the only thing the board is asking and looking to pass tonight is the exact millage that the voters of Terrebonne Parish has approved. Yes. Not one mill more than that. At this time, we'll close with no other further comments. We will close the public hearing. Moving along in our agenda to our normal school board meeting of September the 3rd, 2024. Mr. LaGuardia, would you please bless us with the invocation and the pledge this evening?
Yes, ma'am. Lord, support each of us in this meeting tonight. We ask your divine help in the difficult task of representing the wishes of others. The issues we address tonight are many, and the solutions may not always be easy. Dear God, help us as we serve Terrebonne Parish School System as elected officials and be with us tonight and forevermore. Amen.
Next, we will take a moment for our memorials.
Please have a moment of silence for the following individuals who recently passed away in our district. Jeremiah Falgu, Montague Elementary School student. Annette Foster, retired school teacher. Claire Boulanger, retired school teacher. Grace Whitfield, retired education technology facilitator and teacher. Helen Lyons, retired school food service technician. And Howard Gothrow, retired school teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Voisin. Roll call.
Mr. Michael Lagarde.
Here.
Mr. Gregory Harding.
Here.
Mr. Matthew Ford.
Here.
Mrs. Debbie Benoit.
Here.
Mr. Don Crowdis.
Here.
Dr. Bud Kluche.
Here.
Mr. Roger Dale Dehart.
Here.
Dr. Maybelle Trahan.
Here.
And Mr. Dane Voisin.
Here.
Madam President, you have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. What was that? Item number 5, approval of the minutes of the school board meeting of August 6, 2024. Recommendation that the board approve the minutes of school board meeting of August 6, 2024 as recorded.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Dehart.
Second.
Second by Ms. Benoit. Any public comment? Ms. Dehart?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Benoit?
No, ma'am.
Any other board members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered. Item number 6 is old business, there is none. Item number 7, adopt the adjusted millage rate. The recommendation is that the following resolution adopting the adjusted millage rate for the regular school board, for the regular school tax, which is constitutional, and the special school tax, which is maintenance of the entire school system, for all effective for 2024.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. DeHart,
Second.
second by Mr. Ford. Any public comment? I will now read the resolution in full. Let it be resolved by the Terrebonne Parish School Board of the Parish of Terrebonne, Louisiana, in a public meeting held on September 3rd, 2024, which meeting was conducted in accordance with the Open Meetings Law and the additional requirements of Article 7, Section 23C of the Louisiana Constitution and RS 47-1705B, that the following adjusted millage rates be, and they are hereby levied upon the dollar of the assessed valuation of all property subject to ad valorem taxation within said parish for the year 2024 for the purpose of raising revenue. The regular school tax constitutional, 3.73 mills. The special tax maintenance, 5.23 mills. To be further resolved that the assessor of the parish of Terrebonne shall extend upon the assessment roll for the year 2024 the taxes herein levied, and the tax collector of such parish, of said parish, shall collect and remit the same to said taxing authority in accordance with the law. The foregoing resolution having been read in full, the roll will be called on the adoption thereof and their resolution adoption.
Ms. Debbie, Dr. Bud? You there? All votes are in. No objections, 9 yeas. She passes.
9 yeas and no nays.
That's correct.
Do we have any more comment on this resolution, this recommendation, before we move on?
You have to go to who moved it and seconded it. You have to go to who moved it, I believe, first, before you,
We did that.
no, we moved it. That just seems to be comments.
I didn't do that? I need a move, somebody, didn't you move it?
Yeah. I
Didn't you?
moved it.
You recommended it.
But you gotta recognize for discussion.
What?
Go to Mr. DeHart, because he moved it, if he has a question.
Oh.
No
you-
questions, no.
Oh, that's what you're saying?
Yes,
All
ma'am,
right.
sorry.
All
And
right.
then the public.
Any other board members? All right.
The public.
Was that?
You didn't ask for public comment.
I thought I had done that. Public comment?
Now we got it.
Okay. I thought I did that before I read the resolution. All right. I have it on my list to do it then.
You've got to put your check mark.
I forgot to put my, yeah, but I did put my check mark. That's the problem.
Don't tell the people.
Item number 8. Set forth the adjusted millage rates and roll forward the millage rate not exceeding the maximum authorized rates. The recommendation is that the board adopt the following resolution designating the adjusted millage rates and rolling forward to the increased rates allowed by law for the regular school tax constitutional and the special school tax maintenance millage for 2004. Do we have a motion?
Yes.
Mr. DeHart. Second, Mr. Ford. Any public comment? All right. Be it resolved that the Terrebonne Parish School Board of the Parish of Terrebonne, Louisiana, in a public meeting held on September 3rd, 2024, which meeting was conducted in accordance with the Open Meetings Law and the additional requirements of Article 7, Section 23C of the Louisiana Constitution, and the RS 47-1705B, that the taxing district voted to increase the millage rates, but not in excess of the prior year's maximum rate on all taxable property shown on the official assessment roll for the year 2024, and when collected, the revenues from said taxes shall be used only for the specific purposes for which said taxes have been levied. Said millage rates are regular school tax constitutional. The adjusted rate is 3.73 mils. The 2024 levy, 3.86 mils. Special school tax maintenance, the adjusted rate is 5.23 mils, and the 2024 level is 5.41 mils. Be it further resolved that the assessor of the parish of Terrebonne shall extend upon the assessment roll for the year 2024 the taxes herein levied, and to the tax collector of said parish shall collect and remit the same to said taxing authority in accordance with law. The foregoing resolution having been read in full, and the roll is going to be called for the adoption. Mr. DeHart, any more
No, ma'am.
comment?
No
Mr. Ford?
comments, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
practice makes perfect. You're doing good.
Any other board members?
I
Roll
just-
call vote.
I have
Ms. Benmar.
just one clarification again, that within it, it says increased rates, but that increased rate is the levied rate by the assessor, not by us.
Correct.
So I want to just make that very clear.
Anyone else? Roll call vote.
Mr. Hardy. Mr. Hardy. All votes are in. 9 yeas, no objections, all members present.
Thank you. 9 yeas, no nays. The recommendation passes. Item number 9, meeting announcements. On September 17th, we will have our 5 o'clock meeting for committee meetings, beginning with Finance, Insurance, and Section 16 Lands, followed by Executive Committee, Buildings, Food Service, Transportation Committee, Education, Technology, and Policy Committee. On the 1st of October, we will have our regular school board meeting. Board meeting reports. Education is 10A. Ms. Benbaum.
Thank you, Madam President. The Education, Technology, and Policy Committee met at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, August 20th in the boardroom of the school board office with myself present, Mr. Greg Harding as vice chair, and Mr. Roger Dale DeHart as member. Also in attendance was Dr. Maybelle Trahan, Mr. Dane Voisin, Dr. Bud Kluche, Mr. Don Crowdis, Superintendent Bubba Ogeron, and members of his staff. Usually I don't read all of the other items that were addressed, only the recommendations, but I'd like to address or have Mr. Voisin address the one presentation that we had from Mr. Brett Chasson, Director of Healthy Lifestyles for the Center of Terrebonne General Health System. He presented some information to us on our partnership, and Mr. Voisin has asked to make a comment about that. So I yield to you.
Thank you, Ms. Benoit. Yes, at the committee meeting that we had a couple of weeks ago, Mr. Brett Chasson, the director, presented and brought along some other very important people with that. And it seemed to me, I don't know of the rest of you guys, that we thanked them and that was about it. But to recognize everything that they do, just to say a few things here, their services, athletic trainers, just athletic trainers, if I'm understanding this correctly, $3 million worth of athletic training services they provide in the past 10 years that we don't pay a penny for. That's amazing. And other things, CPR, sudden impact, nutrition education, job shadowing, and everything that we heard from them a couple of weeks ago. I just really wanted to spend a few seconds on how much we really do need to appreciate the services they provide. And I don't know, I just felt like we didn't give enough praise and appreciation to them. That's my opinion. I wish we could, I don't know if we could do something like that, but as a board, a district really need to show our appreciation by maybe recognizing Terrebonne General in a bigger light. I don't know if there can be some kind of a banquet or something we can do for maybe all our sponsors, but especially Terrebonne General for all the things that they do for our school system. I think it's an amazing opportunity we have that we don't spend any money on. And that is just unbelievable. I don't know if all the districts have the same thing from local hospitals.
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah,
All of
I think Lafourche may have.
I think
no?
Lafourche has something
trainers.
Jefferson
with,
They're at all these athletic events.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's, and
Just do.
it doesn't cost us anything. So it's very important that we do recognize anytime we see anybody from Terrebonne General that's part of that program, that we really do need to go out of our way to thank them. And I spoke to, Miss Sandra, shortly after that, and I think she sent a thank you card to all of them, or was going to. Appreciate that. But it's just something that I think we need to recognize, and if there's something we can do,
Let us think about it on our end, if it's something we can do,
yeah, that would be great.
highlight that.
Yep.
Thank you.
their
thank you.
relationship with us.
I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I have, Mr. Ford has a comment.
Okay.
Although I support Mr. Varzan's comments, I am appreciative of Terrebonne General and the way they've stepped up recently, but 22 years ago, Jake Bordelon started providing free physicals and free sideline care for our football teams and our and other sports. And so he kind of got that trend started here, among other things, and then Thibodeau Regional really started stepping up when they partnered with Nickel State. So Terrebonne General, although they do provide a lot, and I'm very appreciative of it, especially with the scholarships and the banquets, it's just they're kindly coming up to par with the other districts. So I am appreciative. We do have a good partnership with them, but I don't want it to go unrecognized that a lot of these things have been in place for a long time. And there was private individuals that were providing those services before Terrebonne General did. So although it's a very symbiotic relationship, I'm appreciative of it. I don't want those people to get overlooked as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DeHart?
I agree with all of the comments Mr. Walzan and Mr. Ford said, but I do recognize that we have many, many companies that partner with us, and that's why we're doing so well, because we got a lot of partnership. That's what I said earlier about, today's economy. Both parents is working, and they're doing what they have to do to raise their family, and the partnership is there. This is a partnership too, and we can't forget about the smaller ones that they're doing what they can within their means. Terrebonne General is a little bit more able to do more, which we'd want it to go not appreciated. So I like your comments too. Thank you.
And just to add to what Mr. DeHart said, I think it's a great idea to be appreciative and try to make sure that Terrebonne General knows how much we do enjoy that partnership with them. But there's so many people that have partnerships, so we would not want to leave out anybody, little or small. Maybe we could do something, superintendent, something like a banquet or, something like that, that we could get some sponsorships to do something, some event.
Okay. Yeah,
And then
sure.
just hopefully try to make sure we include everybody that should be recognized at an event like that. I think that would be a great thing, a good gesture. Yeah.
Can I add just one?
Sure, yeah.
Doc,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just a thought along here. I mean, obviously, this is a tremendous plus for our community, which is great. And just an idea and just something to look into. This may not be the way to do it. But first, we need a list of those people and our companies that are providing us support. We need that. And maybe could possibly highlight them at our sporting venues, whether that be basketball gyms or football arenas with a banner, you know, different months, highlight somebody in different events so that we can go through that list of people, not forgetting anybody. And, you know, a banquet is nice, but a banquet is there and it's gone. But if we could maybe bring a banner to basketball games or volleyball games or football games that we could put out thanking this particular company or thanking this particular individual for their support, and just make that a highlight of every month we would highlight one until we get through the list and then start over again. You know, just again, thanking the community for them stepping up to what we're doing. Just a thought.
Great idea.
That's a good thought.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Um,
Mr. Harding?
This kind of all come together what Mike Lagarde was talking about earlier about money-wise, and I can see how now we got all these pieces of the pie, and if Terrebonne, the general, back out on it, that's $3 million that we got to absorb, and that's not counting everything else with all the other contributions that we actually get. And I'm going to speak from a sports side of it, because y'all guys know I'm into sports. I went to a game last Friday, and I'm not going to name the school, but they didn't have an athletic trainer out there, and the kid laid on the field about 5 minutes before the coach made it over to come see what was going on with him. And I just thought that was kind of odd that they didn't have that there. So a lot of things that we have here in terms of power we take for granted because we have it. But then let's not have it, then we'll realize exactly what it has. So I think, Mike made a valid point, and I think that, we also have to try to, take care of our own too. Just don't totally rely on others to take care of us. And that's $3 million, that's a big chunk of the pie that we have to absorb and something like that. So, shout out to all our contributors to us, and, thank you for the support that you're supporting us.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Just
Yeah.
one comment. As far as, in particular with Terrebonne in general, in this description here that has all the stuff that you mentioned, Mr. Watt, like you kind of read a lot of them, this night in particular was in addition to what they've already done. They asked, what else can we do? And so with all they're doing, they're still asking to do more. So that's just a big point that we got to this healthy lifestyle component of this this plan that they're going to kind of work in our schools.
Yeah, that was great. Anybody else? Okay. All right, so we'll get to the recommendations now. Recommendation number 1 is the committee recommends that the board approve the purchasing department to advertise requests for proposals for district internet services for the 25-26 school year. Moved by Mr. DeHart, second by Dr. Trahan. Any public comment? Mr. DeHart? Dr. Trahan? Mr. Babin, would you like to add anything to this?
Not particularly. Not on
Okay.
this one. It's just the internet renewal contract. We're approaching the end of our 5-year contract, and we're going back to market to do another 3 + 2.
Okay. And questions? Yes.
At the committee meeting, you expressed your gratitude and you were pleased with the service that we've been getting. So I just want to
Absolutely.
reiterate that because we want to encourage our current provider to go ahead and bid again because we like their services they're providing. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Any objections? Hearing none, so moved. You can stay there, Mr. Babin. Recommendation number 2, the committee recommends that the board approve the purchasing department to advertise requests for proposals for replacement of district Wi-Fi wireless controller for the 25-26 school year. Moved by Mr. Harding, second by Mr. DeHart. Any public comment? Mr. Babin, do you have any?
It's just the most sophisticated piece of equipment we have in our district. It controls all of the Wi-Fi throughout the district. If this thing cuts out, it switches everybody in this room to the devices surrounding us, which is great in classroom situations, because from room to room, if one gets overloaded, it reaches to the next classroom, find those less busy, it automatically switches them.
Right.
And it's going end of life, so we had to pursue it. And we're doing this early because of E-rate funding. E-rate funding, we start way early, almost 8 months early, to get it funded for next
And
school year.
E-rate pays what percentage of this?
90%, or 85%. of this.
85%, okay. Mr. Harding, any comments? Mr. DeHart? Any board members? Any objections? Hearing none, so moved. Next recommendation is the committee recommends that the board approve the purchasing department to advertise requests for proposals for replacement of district internet firewall for the 25-26 school year. Moved by Mr. DeHart, second by Mr. Ford. Any public comment? Mr. Babin?
A comment, we're gonna pull that one, because since we pursue these things early, just anticipating them going end of life, but I just discovered that this one's gonna probably give us 2 more years. And it's a really good piece of equipment, so we're gonna hang on to it. The RFP's written, we'll either come back next year or the following year and try again, and we'll just keep using what we have.
Thank you for your expertise. We appreciate what you do for the district. Because most of us don't know much about, except how to use a computer now and then, you know. So we appreciate that. Mr. DeHart, any comment? Mr. Ford?
I thought we were gonna pull this, that's why I went ahead and seconded it, because I think we
Yeah.
need to take action to pull it, right?
Right.
We're not gonna vote on it, you mean?
Yeah, he wants to.
We're
pull
gonna
it.
pull this one, we're not
We're
gonna
gonna put
do
it
it
off for
this
another
year.
year or
Yeah.
two.
It'll be either
Okay.
next year or the following year. RFP's written, it's just, it's not going end of life as anticipated, so we're gonna.
So it's not for the 25-26 school year. We should have just not had this recommendation at all?
Well, at the time when I did the RFP, we didn't know if it was going end of life. Both pieces of equipment are aged about the same. The other one's going end of life. This one, they extended for at least 2 more years.
Okay, so we don't vote on it, basically?
Well, yeah, I'll table it,
Okay,
so that was,
okay.
yeah, so I'd like to table.
All right, let's go back then, because we've done, we've approved and we had a second on the original recommendation. So do we vote on it?
You can do one of 2 ways, you can pull it, or you can, if nobody, if it fails, then you don't send it down.
And since I was the second, I can table or pull it. If I was the first, I wouldn't be able to, right? Okay, that's a rule you guys came up with 3 years ago, so I.
Okay, so you're tabling?
Yes.
Okay, so we don't have to vote on it? Okay, all right, we're done. Thank you. Okay, there being no further business, yes,
In that minutes, I see Mr. Butler's here. I don't know, I know we had some conversation about that metal detector. I don't know if he
oh, yes.
have that here or where was that situation? He got it? Where is it? I didn't come to
Yeah.
the front door. I didn't come to the front door. I came to the back door.
That's right. Everybody in here walked through those metal detectors to get in here.
Well, yeah, we actually, we brought a set of towers over, for you guys viewing, and, you know, if you had any questions, was able to actually explain, but, I didn't see you come through, Mr. Hart.
Did you request them?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Mr. DeHart?
And Mr. Butler,
Yes, sir.
just for the record, the one who beat the loudest was Ms. Bimwell, right?
No. That's not true. I was.
No, so, but if you guys had any questions, I mean, I can entertain any of those.
No.
Thank you for bringing.
Yeah, thank you. It's very impressive, and we're
Yeah.
excited to have them.
Well, yeah, I actually contacted Mr. Wininger, asked him to bring a set over. We have used those in a few searches at a few schools already, and we look to expand upon what we've already begun to do.
That's great. Yes, Mr. Crowdis?
Mr. Butler, have the detectors reaped any benefits, any results in our schools? Or
They're there to be deterrents, so they're doing their job. I'll leave it at that.
It seems like they're very sophisticated in that you can control it to a lesser degree or a greater degree, depending on what you're if you have suspicion about something, which is, I think, very good.
Yeah, for the last year, we actually would utilize some of the Garrett metal detectors, which are walk-through detectors. They're a bit more bulkier. This set of detectors have about 300 sensors. The Garrett's a little bit over 100 sensors. So obviously, it's a definite upgrade for us. And we can utilize those things just about for any event. If we wanted to do a check on the class, a search on the class, we can have students walk through. Doesn't matter what direction you go in. They pick up the same way. With the Garrett's, our limitation is you can only enter in one direction. They're still good. However, these things are about, well, I'm saying these things, the open gate metal detectors are about 25 pounds, so you can easily carry those. We are looking to add in base plates to all of the sets that we do have, or at least we're looking into it, and which will give us a little bit more the sturdiness that we're looking for in the event that we use them for outside events.
Now, these are going to be used primarily for high schools, right? Not junior high functions.
Not at this time. We you know, I'll let that'll be a discussion I'm sure we'll have in the future. However, we are looking to still trickle down some of the Garrett metal detectors to the middle and junior high
Okay.
schools.
Good.
If
Yeah.
we have information that we need
Mm-hmm. Right.
to maneuver them.
That's what I was
Right.
thinking. We don't.
Right. Right.
Yeah. We don't want to ignore the fact that things could probably happen at those events as well.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
The beauty of this is, one of the beauties is that because we can operate by using Bluetooth, obviously one user at a time can log on, but if we needed additional metal detectors at a school or events, we can, because they are ours, we can go and obviously pick them up from different schools, depending on the capacity of the crowd. So, feel pretty confident about the product that we've purchased, and we'll see what happens in the future. Hopefully they'll continue to be the deterrent that we're looking for in any event that they do what they are designed to do. We'll catch the culprits.
Very good. Thank you. Any other comments or
have one
questions?
comment.
Yes.
We had talked about these possibly being able to pick up vapes. Are they, can we
Contingent
set
upon
them for
setting.
that? And
I don't like to give away the game.
I
We
understand.
can talk,
I
we can
understand.
talk afterwards, but as that question was asked by Mr. DeHart the last time, we can catch vapes.
Okay, thank you.
But, everything is contingent upon what setting we're looking for. Again, as Mr. Orgeron stated, if we have suspicion, have information that's been presented to us, then, we can easily transport those to the location.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Ford?
So one of the best deterrents is word of mouth.
Yes.
I would just encourage you guys to, maybe set it up outside of the classroom one day soon and let students get wind that possible.
The question was actually asked, again, in terms of the vapes, it served as a deterrent in one of the locations that we did perform a search.
Awesome. Anybody else? Thank you for taking the lead on this and facilitating the purchase of this.
I couldn't take all of that credit because I would have to include Mr. Tarbert, who was very instrumental in us purchasing those, so I couldn't do that.
Well, thank you both.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yes, thanks.
All right, guys, thank you.
Okay, now, there being no further business, Education and Policy Committee, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Yes.
The next item on the agenda is our finance, insurance, and sexual lands committee report. Mr. Ford.
Thank you, Madam President. The Finance, Insurance, and Section 16's Land Committee met immediately following the 5 p.m. Education, Technology, and Policy Committee meeting on Tuesday, August 20th, 2024, in the boardroom of the School Board Office with the following members present: myself as chairman, Mr. Don Crowdis as vice chairman, Dr. Bud Kluche as a member. Also in attendance were Dr. Maybelle Trahan, Mr. Dane Voisin, Mr. Roger Del DeHart, Mr. Michael Lagarde, Ms. Debbie Benoit, Mr. Gregory Harding, Superintendent Bubba Ogeron, and members of his staff. We had two recommendations come before the committee. The first The committee recommends that the board approve and accept the following highest bid received, meeting all specifications for hunting and trapping lease on Section 16's lands for 5-year period beginning September 4th, 2024 through September 3rd, 2029. Allow the purchasing department to re-advertise those sections where no bid was received and/or those sections in which leases were surrendered, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto. Moved by Mr. Dehart, seconded by Mr. Voisin. Any public comment? Mr. Dehart?
No, sir.
Mr. Voisin? Ally, did you want to come up and say anything about that, or, nope? Thank you, ma'am. Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Item number 2, recommendation number 2, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept the renewal of the contract for ink and toner cartridges from the Treehouse, P.O. Box 413, Norwood, Massachusetts, 02062, for a 12-month period beginning December 7th, 2024, under the same terms and conditions. Moved by Mr. Crowdis, seconded by Dr. Cloche. Any public comment? Mr. Crowdis? Dr. Cloche? Any other board members?
Good comment about the same terms and conditions.
Yes,
That's
sir.
rare.
Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. There being no further business to come before the Finance, Insurance, and Section 16's Lands Committee, the meeting adjourned at 6:31 p.m., and I turn the meeting back over to you, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Item C, Executive Committee Report of August the 20th, 24. Dear members of the board, the Executive Committee met immediately following the 5 p.m. Education, Technology, and Policy Committee and the Finance, Insurance, and Section 16 Lands Committee meetings on Tuesday, August 20th, 2024, in the boardroom of the School Board Office with the following members present. Myself, President, Mr. Voisin, Vice President, Mr. Lagarde, and also in attendance were Dr. Cloche, Ms. Benoit, Mr. Ford, Mr. Dehart, Mr. Crowdis, Mr. Harding, Superintendent Orgeron, and members of his staff. The meeting was called to order. The Executive Committee examined and authorized payment of invoices for the current month, including supplemental payroll and travel expenses. There were no committee concerns expressed at that time. Do I have a motion for acceptance?
So moved.
By Ms. Benoit, second by Mr. Voisin. Any public comment? Ms. Benoit?
No,
Mr.
ma'am.
Voisin? Any other board members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered. Being no further business to become before the Executive Committee, the meeting was adjourned, at 6:32 p.m. Next item, item D, Buildings, Food Service, and Transportation Committee, Mr. Voisin.
Thank you, Madam President. The BFT Committee met immediately following the 5 p.m. Education, Technology, and Policy Committee, Finance, Insurance, and Section 16's Lands Committee, and Executive Committee meetings on Tuesday, August 20, 2024, in the boardroom of the School Board Office with the following members. Myself as Chair, Mr. Lagarde Vice Chair, and Dr. Trahan Member. Also in attendance were Dr. Cloche, Mr. Ford, Mrs. Benoit, Mr. Dehart, Mr. Crowdis, Mr. Harding, Superintendent Orgeron, and members of his staff. Recommendation number 1, the committee recommends that the board approve and authorize the Child Nutrition Department to advertise for 6-month bids for meats and frozen items and canned and dry goods for the 2025 spring session, January 1, 2025 through June 30, 2025. Funds to be derived from the Child Nutrition Program Fund. So move, Mr. Harding. Second, Mr. Lagarde. Public comments, Ms. Walters.
No, it's just the normal bid process.
Fantastic. Mr. Harding, Mr. Lagarde, other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. Recommendation number 2, please refer to your handout placed at your seat. Amended recommendation. Recommendation number 2, the committee recommends that the board approve and authorize the Child Nutrition Department to advertise for a replacement satellite delivery truck and a replacement dry goods delivery truck. Funds to be derived from the Child Nutrition Program Fund. So move, Mr. Dehart. Second, Mr. Lagarde. Public comments. Ms. Monica,
Walther.
Walther, sorry. Sorry about that.
During the process between the committee meeting and now, one of the vehicles came under, needed to be repaired. It's a 2004 delivery truck, and when it goes down the road, it has so much smoke, it's not even funny. So if y'all approve us the ability to get a satellite truck and a delivery truck, we'd appreciate it.
Okay, so, Mr. DeHart?
The only thing I know the history of one of the trucks. They've been repaired so many times because of age and miles and
Correct.
stuff. So it's time to replace it.
Yes, sir. Mr. Lagarde? Coming. Well, I mean, 20 years old.
Yeah, it's 20
Yeah,
years.
20 years
it's a
old. It's
20
time.
Yeah,
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 very
yeah.
good. Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes.
thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Walters. Recommendation number 3, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept the substantial completion dated July 1, 2024 for the building repair project at Honduras Elementary School and ratify change order number 1 in a credit amount of $130,044.08 and add 46 days to the contract from May 16, 2024 to July 1, 2024, subject to the punch list. Upon completion of the punch list and final inspection, balancing change order and receipt of the lien-free certificate, authorize the release of retainage and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto.
So moved.
So moved, Ms. Benoit. Second, Mr. DeHart. Public comments? Ms. Benoit?
Always happy to see a credit.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Mr. DeHart, yeah. We're going to spin it on the other end, though, but good, good. Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 4, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept change order number 2 for the secure entry vestibule project at Oak Lawn Middle School in the amount of $12,920.04. Change deteriorated water valve, remove shelving and wall-mounted items, and paint interior walls in administrative offices. Add light switches and power outlet in administrative office, and increase contract time by 14 days from August 14, 2024 to August 28, 2024. Funds to be derived from the building fund, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto. So moved, Dr. Cloche. Second, Mr. Harding. Any public comments? Dr. Cloche? Mr. Harding? Other board members?
We should have that project finished, correct?
Yep, it should be.
We're waiting on materials, it's almost done, we're waiting on some doors, everything else is done except the doors are not
We
installed.
extended it to 28, so you need to extend it
Yes,
a few
sir.
more days.
All right, we might have to do that, yeah. Good point.
I was just happy with
That was
that.
as of,
I was just hoping it would be done.
Yeah, yeah. Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 5. Committee recommends that the board approve and accept the lowest bid received, meeting all specifications for the security fencing project at Broadmoor Elementary, Coteau Bayou Blue Elementary, Caldwell Middle, Evergreen Junior High, H.L. Bourgeois High, and Lisa Park Elementary Schools, and the parent drop-off driveway at Coteau Bayou Blue Elementary School from Thompson Construction, P.O. Box 187, Thibodaux, Louisiana, in the amount of $839,000. Accept alternate number 1 to add a canopy at Coteau Bayou Blue Elementary for the parent drop-off driveway in the amount of $146,000, and establish a total project budget in the amount of $1,064,457.98. Funds to be derived from previously budgeted funds in the building fund. So move Mr. Crowdis. Second, Mr. DeHart. I'm stuttering today. Public comments? Mr. Crowdis? Mr. DeHart? Other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 6, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept substantial completion dated August 2nd, 2024 for the building repair project at Houma Junior High School and ratify change order number 6 in a credit amount of $21,771.79 due to the addition on floor waxing, abatement services, the replacement of a mini split HVAC in the boys' locker room, the replacement of a blower motor for the HVAC in the gym, and the elimination of insulating the hot water piping throughout the building. Subject to the punch list, upon completion of the punch list and final inspection, balancing change order and receipt of the lien-free certificate, authorize the release of retainage and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto. So move, Mr. Harding. Second, Mr. Lagarde. Public comments, Mr. Steve Rome. No, anything? It's if you had anything. Okay. Thank you, sir. Mr. Harding? Mr. Lagarde? Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you, sir. Number 7, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept change order number 4 for the Oak Lawn Middle School window project, replacement project in the amount of $33,886.64 for additional painting in buildings 1 and 8, faculty restroom in 200 wing, chalk trays in buildings 1, 2, 3, and 6, provide and install 4-inch rubber base throughout all areas of new VCT flooring, and add 30 days to the contract from July 31st, 2024 through August 30, 2024. Funds to be derived from the building fund, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto. So move, Dr. Traha. Second, Dr. Cloche. Public comments. Dr. Traha?
No, sir.
Dr. Cloche? So is that project done? August 30th? It is? Fantastic. Any objections? Almost forgot, huh? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 8, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept the lowest bid received meeting all specifications for the Legion Park Elementary School painting project and IT Annex Building painting project from Nakans Painting and Waterproofing, Inc., P.O. Box 526, Thibodaux, Louisiana, 70302, in the amount of $163,418. Establish a total project budget in the amount of $182,805. Funds to be derived from the building fund, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto. So move, Mr. Crowdis. Second, Dr. Traha. Public comments? Mr. Crowdis? Dr. Traha?
No, sir.
Any other board members? Mr. Ogeron?
Quick comment.
Yes, sir.
Pre-construction meeting is set up Friday to get started ASAP on this job.
Awesome, awesome.
Ally, set that up right.
Good, good job. Any other board members? Okay, Mr. Ford.
I just want to comment that I'm pleased to see Nakans back on the job with us. They do an exceptional job. They did a lot of work at schools that I've been at, and they run a really tight ship, real professional, and they have a lot of oversight with their supervision. So the employees don't roam. They stick to the job, get it done, and move on to the next one. So I'm pleased to have them back.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Any other board member? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 9, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept change order number 2 for the building repair project at South Turbonne High School in the amount of $1,724,934.69 for removal and replacement of plaster ceilings and walls, and add 130 days to the contract from August 20, 2025 to December 28, 2025. Funds to be derived from FEMA reimbursement funds, $1,552,441.22, and local funds, $172,493.47, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto. So move, Dr. Traha. Second, Mr. Lagarde. Public comments? Dr. Traha?
No, sir.
Mr. Lagarde?
No, sir.
Other board members? Any objections?
I object.
You object? Okay, one objection. Ms. Debbie Benoit. Any other objections? Motion passes. Recommendation number 10, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept change order number 3 in a credit amount of $6,820.82 for the building repair project at Oak Lawn Middle School and Schriever Elementary School, additional VCT flooring and credit for elimination of floor polishing, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto. So move, Mr. Harding. Second, Mr. Crowdis. Any public comments? Mr. Harding? Mr. Crowdis? Other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 11, the committee recommends the board approve and accept change order number 3 for the roof repair project at Oak Lawn Middle School in the amount of $12,648. Remove and replace existing gutters and downspouts at the 300 wing building and add 44 days to the contract from September 4, 2024 to October 18, 2024. Funds to be derived from the buildings fund, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto.
So moved.
So moved, Ms. Benoit. Second, Mr. Crowdis. Any public comments? Ms. Benoit?
No, sir.
Mr. Crowdis? Other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 12, the committee recommends the board approve and accept the substantial completion dated August 7, 2024 for the building repair project at Mulberry Elementary School and ratify change order number 8 in the amount of $92,560. Removal of electrical power columns in classrooms, courtyard CMU, wall repair, additional wood nailers on main roof, additional ceiling tile and insulation, additional wood blocking required at roof of mechanical courtyard, south side concrete side wall removal and remediation, and a credit for modular building roof partial replacement. Funds to be derived from FEMA reimbursement funds, $64,735.20, and local funds, $27,824.80. Subject to the punch list, upon completion of the punch list and final inspection, balancing change order and receipt of the lien-free certificate, authorize the release of retainage, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto. So move, Mr. DeHart. Second, Mr. Lagarde. Public comments? Mr. DeHart? Mr. Lagarde? Other board members?
I have a question
Yes,
on
ma'am.
this. So is this being done on the old part of the Mulberry, not the new structure? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, thank God. Just spent all that money on it.
I want to make sure.
Yes, good, very good
Okay.
question. Any other board members? Mr. Crowdis?
I don't know if it matters or not, but just a clarification for maybe the public that might be listening and may not have the writing in front of them.
Yes,
It's
sir.
a concrete sidewalk. I think he had maybe said a side wall,
Oh, I might have.
just so that it's not misunderstood. It's a concrete sidewalk.
Yes, good job. You listen. I appreciate it. Yes, yes. So concrete sidewalk. Yeah, I probably did say wall. Okay, very good.
That would be a little bit more specific.
Yes. Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 13, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept the substantial completion dated August 9, 2024 for the Terrebonne High School softball field project, subject to the punch list. Upon completion of the punch list and final inspection, balancing change order and receipt of the lien-free certificate, authorize the release of retainage, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto. So moved, Dr. Clocher. Second, Mr. Lagarde. Any public comments? Dr. Clocher?
Yeah, I think we were sent some pictures on that, and it looks fantastic.
It does,
It
yeah.
really is a beautiful, beautiful job.
Long awaited too, right? Yeah, very good. Thank you. Mr. Lagarde? Other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 14. The committee recommends that the board approve and accept change order number 1 for the demolition of Upper Little Caillou Elementary School in the amount of $15,773.65 to cut off, remove, and backfill an additional 315 pilings and add 10 additional days to the contract. Funds to be derived from FEMA reimbursement funds, $14,196.28, and local funds, $1,577.37, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto. So move Dr. Traha, second Dr. Clocher. Public comments? Dr. Traha? Upper Little Caillou? Dr. Clocher?
Yes, again, we had mentioned at the committee meeting, and I just wanted to say this again for the public, that these 315 pilings were pilings that were not listed in the documents that showed the original foundation. So these were found after the pilings that were shown to be there were removed. They found another 315. That's why we're having to take care of those as well.
That's correct. And it's amazing to have that many pilings that they missed.
Blew my mind.
Unbelievable.
They could have closed today.
Thank you, Dr. Cloche. Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 15, the committee recommends that the board authorize the superintendent to sell the property previously declared as surplus located at 1327 Bayou Dularge Road, Terrio, Louisiana, Old Dularge Elementary School, in accordance with applicable laws, all transactions subject to board attorney review, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto.
So moved.
So move Ms. Benoit. Second, Mr. DeHart. Public comments? Ms. Benoit?
No, sir.
Mr. DeHart? Other board members? Had a feeling.
Unfortunately, I had to leave at the committee meeting before this item came up, so I was a little disappointed that, I wasn't able to stick around for it. I'm a little torn on this issue because I think that schoolhouse means so much to the Dularge community, and I was really hopeful that at some point in time it would be returned to the community, or at least for the use of the community. So I'm gonna pray that when it does go for sale, up for bid, that it's purchased by someone in that community and it gets used to enrich that community. It's such a strategic location. A lot of things have been built right there near it intentionally. So I'm hoping that it continues to be a staple in that community and not, not that I have a say-so or anything, but I would just hope that private business would, try to stay away from that and let it be something for the community. So,
Yeah, good point.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. There being no further business to come before the BFT committee, the meeting was adjourned at 7:34 PM. I turn it back over to you, Dr. Trahan.
Thank you, Mr. Boisar. Item number 11, superintendent's agenda.
Okay, 11A1 is proclamation in observance of Constitution Week, September 17th through the 23rd of 2024. The recommendation is that the board approve the following proclamation recognizing September 17th through the 23rd, 2024 as Constitution Week.
Do I have a motion? Mr. Cloche, second.
Second, Mr. DeHart. Cloche.
Cloche and
DeHart.
DeHart, thank you. Any public comment? You want to read the
Yes, ma'am.
proclamation, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Whereas the founding fathers, in order to secure the blessings of liberty for themselves and their prosperity, did ordain and establish a constitution for the United States of America. Whereas it is of the greatest importance that all citizens fully understand the provisions and principles contained in the Constitution in order to support, preserve, and defend it against all encroachment. Whereas the 237th anniversary of the signing of the Constitution provides historic opportunity for all Americans to realize the achievements of the framers of the Constitution and the rights, privileges, and responsibilities it affords. And whereas the independence guaranteed to American citizens, whether by birth or naturalization, should be celebrated by the appropriate ceremonies and activities during Constitution Week, September 17th, through the 23rd, as designated by proclamation of the President of the United States of America in accordance with Public Law 915. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Terrebonne Parish School Board, in conjunction with the Bayou Lafourche chapter of the National Society, Daughters of the American Revolution, does hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd, 2024, as Constitution Week in all schools of Terrebonne Parish, and does urge all students to study the Constitution and reflect on the privilege of being an American with the rights and responsibilities with which that privilege involves. Be it further resolved that copies of this proclamation be forwarded to all Terrebonne Parish public schools and office buildings.
Thank you, Mr. Ogeron. This recommendation has been moved by Ms. Dr. Cloche and seconded by Mr. DeHart. Any public comment? Ms. Cloche?
Yes. You know, it's something that I never thought I would see, but there are factions within our country that are trying to tear down the Constitution. Even this very week, I was reading something along that line, and so I'm extremely proud of the school board, extremely proud of this proclamation that's going forth, that we're celebrating that which so many people gave their life for, to see this country free. And so I just want to give my appreciation for doing this.
Thank you, sir. Mr. DeHart?
Can't say anything more and any better than Dr. Cloutier said.
Mr. Ford?
Although I echo the sentiments of Dr. Cloutier, there's one word on here that really doesn't sit well with me, and I'll explain why. And it's in the beginning whereas it's the greatest importance that all citizens fully understand. I think it should be changed to all U.S. residents, because right now, at this moment in time, we are facing a crisis in this nation, and it is in regards to the Constitution. It's not just the citizens that need to understand that. It's any resident of the United States. If you are living in this country, you need to understand the importance and the significance of the Constitution. So I'm not asking to change the resolution. I like the proclamation. I would just like to see that verbiage changed. But I'm dealing with this on a personal level as well, because I'm seeing day to day the change that this country is going through, and in particular with the Constitution, but also even closer with the Pledge of Allegiance. You know, 4 U.S.C. 4 back in 1776 declared that the Pledge of Allegiance was something that we should, adhere to, and something we should maintain. And our hands are tied as an education system. We can't require students to stand for the pledge. We can't require them to recite it. I understand that, but I can't even encourage them to say it. I can't even ask them why, or if they know what the significance is. So, the makeup of this country is changing so rapidly, and I'm concerned. So I think, one thing that needs to be pointed out is that it's not just the citizens of this country that need to understand this, and it's all the residents, especially with the immigration that we have at this time. I welcome everybody in this country, but this is our country. If you're coming here, it's a good idea to appreciate what we have in place. And the Constitution is that primary paramount document. So that's all I have to say about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Ms. Benoit?
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Ford and Dr. Cloutier. And for those reasons, I think it's incumbent on us as a school system to make sure that our students learn about the Constitution, and that we do say the pledge daily, regardless if people choose not to stand up for it, that we make that something that is a ritual for us. And hopefully they'll be encouraged to maybe participate at some level. But the other thing is, I want to say, all of my years on the board, I always enjoyed the Daughters of the American Revolution coming and bringing us copies of the Constitution and reading their proclamation to us. And those ladies, I think, are now gone, right? They're yeah. And I don't know if there's any within that group that maybe would come forth in future meetings, but that was always a real joy for me to see them come and promote the Constitution to the school system.
We do have a prepared proclamation for them.
We do, but who are we giving it to? I mean, who are the people that are representing
someone in attendance.
that group now? We don't know a name? Yeah, we need to find out who that is. And
Well, they normally contact us. They're usually really good about that a month in advance, but we've not had any contact from them.
yeah, maybe we need to
And-
reach out to them and find out who is still,
We had
a
miss-
member of that group.
We had a Miss Mary Kidry, I believe, that came last year.
Uh-huh.
And, she was assuming it, but I've not heard
Yeah,
anything.
we can't let them disappear. We need
I
to,
know.
we need to make sure
I
they,
agree.
they still around for us. Thank you.
Anyone else? Any objections? None heard, so ordered.
Okay, number 2, matter pertaining to the consideration of approval of bids received for the building repair project at the Fletcher Building. The recommendation is that the board approve and accept the lowest bid received meeting all specifications for the building repair project in response to Hurricane Ida at the Fletcher Building from Freetown Builders, LLC, 517 Amarillo Drive, Homa, LA, 70360, in the amount of $2,186,000, accept alternate number 1 and a credit amount of $270,000 to replace the chiller in lieu of repairs, and alternate number 2 in the amount of $25,500 for the modifications to the administrative area, and establish a total project budget in the amount of $2,161,601. Funds to be derived from FEMA reimbursement funds, $1,922,490.90, and local funds, $239,110.10, pending receipt of all necessary documents, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto.
So moved.
So move, Mr. DeHart.
Second.
Second by Mr. Ford. Public comments? Mr. Room.
Good. I'm just glad we're getting the project started, and as soon as the contract's signed, we'll go into the pre-construction conference and get it rolling.
Put your foot on the accelerator.
Any questions for him, Mr. DeHart?
That's the comment. Put your foot on the accelerator.
Mr. Ford?
Let's get it done.
I'm just pleased that this project is
Finally.
moving forward.
Any other board members? Ms. Benoit?
Yeah, I am as well, happy about it, but do we now know what we're gonna be putting over there as far as, our programs?
We're in the process or progress
We haven't
with that.
identified that yet.
Almost,
Okay.
almost. What we're doing, we're looking at our programs, we're trying to fit it into the space, because this project here is just repair, it's not a total
Mm-hmm.
gutting, except for that administrative area, which was very compartmentalized and little cubicles. We're kind of expanding it. We knocked down some walls just to give it a little bit more meeting space and things like that. So that's what that part is. Other than that, we'll be ready pretty soon.
Okay.
But this is step 1, is obviously getting the repairs.
Sure, getting
And
it
in
ready.
that, I mean, Steve, you can elaborate, but we're doing a lot of, and we're going to be faced with the same thing that we're looking at Oak Lawn, where we're going to have some repair work, but we may have to extend some of the painting and some of the flooring and some of that to kind of make this building really attractive to kids. We want them to really want to come to this college and career center, you know. We haven't kind of said what we're going to call it. We've called it a magnet school, but it's really a
Yeah.
career and college center, is what we're going to end up having there.
Okay.
Any other board members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Rome. Okay, number 3 is a matter pertaining to consideration of approval for authorization to advertise bids for 360-degree school bus camera system. The recommendation is that the board approve and authorize the purchasing department to advertise bids for 360-degree school bus camera systems, funds to be derived from the general operating fund.
So move, Mr. Voisin.
Unanimous
Second,
second.
Mr. DeHart.
Unanimous second.
Excuse me?
Unanimous second.
Are we calling for unanimous second? Thank you. Any public comment? Mr. Voisin.
No, it was Mr. DeHart.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. DeHart.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. DeHart? Mr. Voisin. Any other
I have a comment.
board members? Dr. Cloutier?
These cameras that we're looking at, I'm assuming that when the bus is not in motion, there's a screen that the operator will be able to see what's around the bus.
Yes, sir.
And once it begins to roll, then that screen would turn off so that the driver could focus on where
Yes,
he's
sir.
going.
Yes, sir.
Much like we see in some of the higher-end vehicles that are available.
Yes, sir.
Is that how?
I can give you a little bit of information on that if you'd like me to
What-
elaborate at this time.
Whatever you know.
Yes,
yeah.
sir. You all good? So I guess I'd like to start off with, we recognize the student in the beginning, and our hearts go out to the family. And what we did after the shock of the incident happened, and we had to form a group and analyze our protocols. And we talked about a lot of things we could do to improve, things, and without being or responding in a knee-jerk fashion, we feel that this route, putting 360 cameras, and if you notice, the recommendation is camera system. So part of the system, Doc, is also a proximity sensor in the system.
Thank you.
So it's a camera with a beeping mechanism is what we're asking for.
Awesome.
So after our extensive conversation, this is the thing we feel we can do that would make our buses even safer. And we met with the drivers, and we presented this idea that we're going to look at this kind of system, and they were very favorable as drivers to have this kind of mechanism on board. So it's a tough job. They have a tough job. And when you think about an incident like this, I mean, it's tough. What they have to kind of monitor and be aware of. This is going to help them, and they felt the same thing. So what we looked at one system in particular, and what we like about this system, and if we bid it, we have to bid it, and whoever can meet our specs, but our specs are going to call for integrating with the system we already have in place. We have hard drives on every bus. Whatever we install, we need it to kind of be downloadable to our existing hard drive, tie into the system. We want bird's eye view of the entire bus. We don't want still shots of size. We want one overhead view. We want zones around a bus that will beep with movement of a person. There are camera systems that use artificial intelligence that can detect a person versus a mailbox. I didn't know that, but that's where it's at. It also will sense encroaching cars, and it'll beep accordingly. So you ask, does it stop when the bus rolls? Well, you can set it at a certain miles per hour. When it exceeds a certain miles per hour, it shuts off so that the focus becomes entirely on the road and not a camera. So what it is, it's a monitor that you mount wherever we choose to mount it. Typically, it's mounted to the upper left corner where they can kind of use, so any beep, your eyes divert to a screen to see what's causing the beep. That's about the extent of they'll come in and then they'll install in a couple hours all the cameras and tie it all in. They can do 7 or 8 in a day. So we're looking at about, at 150 buses, outfitting all buses, probably a month and a half, 2 months to kind of get the whole fleet done.
Does training come with that for the drivers?
It can. No extra cost, but we need to train drivers, Ms.
Sure.
Benoit. We talked about that today, and we have to have a very simple 3-step process. What happens when you hear beeps, how you respond, 1, 2, 3. Not make it extensive or cumbersome, complicated, very simple steps, and it should be simple. So that's what we're asking for, if we can move forward with this project and get this done as soon as possible without trying to be too quick with it. We want to do it right, thoroughly, and matter of fact, one company is going to come and install some of the software and hardware, and we're going to we're going to get on the bus and see how it works and go from there.
Great.
When we do get on the bus, if it'd be possible to have an actual bus driver as opposed to a fleet manager driving it. Because the actual bus drivers have the experience of knowing where their weak spots are, whereas the fleet manager can probably drive the vehicle fine, but not used to dropping kids off and picking kids up.
Yes, sir.
So,
And we could probably simulate the exact route and put people on that are posing as kids.
Any other board members?
Yes.
I was just thinking that this may help us with vehicle accidents as well.
It may, particularly.
It has a potential for that.
For the backing up, which we have problems with. We once
So
or
it
twice
might
a
help
year,
them.
we have rear-end, issues.
We might
This
get-
would help with that as well.
That would help with an additional safety factor. Mr. Ford?
So, Mr. Ogeron brought up the incident that happened, and I'm not gonna harp on it, but it broke my heart. 6 months ago, we gave bus drivers a raise, and in that meeting, we said, and we meant it, every one of us up here, the most important job that we have as a district falls in our bus driver's lap, and that's getting students to and from school and home safely. The day starts with them, the day ends with them. So I think anything we do that improves the drivability of the buses, the safely maneuvering of the buses, and getting students to and from home and school safely, I think is a worthwhile venture, something we should spend our time and money on, resources. So I'm definitely in favor of this. I hate that it took an incident to bring this to light, but every other student in this district is going to benefit, and every other family is going to benefit from this. So the silver lining is we are making improvements and we are making adjustments. So I'm pleased at this, and I hope the rest of the board is on board with it as well. Thank you.
If I can add, Mr. Ford, you immediately made this recommendation, and we concurred after meeting that this was the best route.
Ms. Dior.
I'd like to just make a positive comment. First student and Mr. Darren McVeigh, who runs our department over there, worked with staff, and he can show you what's being proposed, because he has a lot of data and information, and it's overwhelmingly, I think, a very good plan. That's just my opinion, but first student always steps up to the plate to do a lot of research to help staff with all kind of different things. So I'm just saying, it's good to have them on board. That's over 25 years we've been having them, and we saw so many good things come out of that partnership for benefiting students and employees.
Thank you, Ms. Dior. I don't remember if I called out for public comment. Any public comment? Any objections? None
I have a
heard, so
question.
Excuse me, Ms.
regarding this.
Benoit.
Yeah, just quick. And this is neither here nor there, but, I've been noticing bus drivers a lot lately, just, as I'm on the road. And I guess I never realized this, but in my observation, it looks like we have more female bus drivers than male. Is that true? Is it 2 to 1? Is it? Yeah, because I rarely saw a male bus driver in the last 2 weeks that I've been looking at different buses. And yeah, and I never realized that, back in the day, it was all men pretty much that drove buses. So I didn't realize that we had that difference, that shift. Okay.
You have any other comments? Any objections? No, none heard, so ordered.
Thank you all for that. Number 4 is personnel section, leave of absence, family and medical leave. Recommendations that the board approve a family and medical leave in accordance with policy file F-114A for Donetta T. Anderson, teacher at Acadian Elementary, beginning August 16th, 2024 through September 13th, 2024 medical.
So moved by Mr. Voisin,
Second.
second by Ms. Benoit. Any public comment? Mr. Voisin? Ms. Benoit?
No.
Any other board members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered.
And finally, 4B are the personnel actions for the period of July 26, 2024 through August 23rd, 2024. And that's for your information only, board members.
Thank you, Mr. Ogeron. Being there be no further business for the Terrebonne Parish School Board on this agenda, we are adjourned.